Hi, and welcome to day 15 of Living Your Happier Life. Day 15, we're halfway through. So, did your body have a lot to say to you yesterday when you listened to it? And if it's still a little bit hard for you to hear it, don't stress out. Please don't stress out. That's the opposite of what we're trying to do here. I promise you that it's just going to get louder. So just keep on listening to it. Okay, so yesterday I said that we were going to talk about the big three ways to strengthen the pillar of your body. So here's the first of them. And it's a really easy one, and it's going to seem really obvious, and you're going to go, oh, come on, Marcy, that can't possibly, you're trying to tell me this, but I tell you, it is a really important one, and it's one that people ignore way too often, and that is sleep. Sleep your way to happiness. Do you know that the quality of sleep that you got last night has a bigger impact on your happiness than your marital status or your income level? Sleep is the body's way to recharge, rejuvenate, heal itself, and we don't give our bodies the opportunity to do that. And I am as guilty as anybody in the past. I used to get a lot of things done, but I did it. I was driven at the price of my body. I had a really stressed out body. I would push myself and push myself beyond my limits. I would overwork and I wouldn't get enough rest. And one day I just decided I couldn't live this way anymore. And so I made some changes. And I found out that not only did I feel more energized and vital during the day, and not only was I happier, but I actually started to get more done. It was kind of weird. I was sleeping more and getting more done. It was as though what was happening was the sleep was regenerating, recharging my body so much that increased prana, that increased life force in my body was radiating out, and I seemed to much more effortlessly attract the people and the things that I needed to do or get in order to get the job done better. And I was more efficient than I was when I was just basically running on empty. Now, in our society these days, in our culture, it seems like it's the opposite. We get rewarded for so little sleep. It's almost as though we have a competition to see who can get the least amount of sleep. You know, I've been in workplaces where people are standing around the water cooler and they're saying something like, I got 5 hours sleep last night. And then somebody else goes, well, I only got 4 hours sleep. And everybody goes, wow, you rock. Really? You just got 4 hours of sleep, as though they should be winning a gold medal for getting the least amount of sleep. I mean, really, it's totally the opposite. Getting a little amount of sleep is nothing to brag about. And then tell you what you already know about sleep, which is that the average person needs somewhere between 7 and 9 hours, usually around 8 hours. I want to share with you what I found to be some of the lesser known ways to really powerfully impact the quality of your sleep, because it's not just the number of hours, but it's also the quality of your sleep. And here's the thing really interesting to me about sleep that you may not know. So our bodies work best when we are in sync with the rhythm of nature. And we are designed to sleep when nature sleeps. We have an internal body clock. It's called our circadian rhythms. And being in touch with the right circadian rhythm is the first step to better sleep. Our circadian rhythm is the 24-hour cycle that really tells your body when to sleep, when to be awake, when to eat. It's the body clock, and it's very affected by external environmental clues like sunlight or temperature. And it's what helps us feel really wide awake and energized, or tired and depleted at different times of the day. And when our circadian rhythms are interrupted, our sleep patterns can go kind of haywire. You might have had the experience when you've gotten just a really bad night's sleep or very little sleep, and then you just tend to go through the day and you make mistakes. You just don't do things as well, and things don't seem to go your way. It feels like you're fighting an uphill battle. You're just not in the flow. It's like the universe. You don't have the support of the universe behind you. But then you get the right amount of sleep or rest, and life just changes. It's like, oh my God, I got a good night's sleep, and all of a sudden the world looks different. It's as though you're really being supported by the universe. Well, according to Ayurvedic medicine, and Ayurveda is some say 3 to 4,000-year-old holistic healing system of medicine that's from India, East India. And according to Ayurveda, there's something called the healing hours. And the healing hours, which are the best hours to sleep, are between 10 at night, 10 p.m., and 2 a.m. They are the hours when your body gets the deepest and most rejuvenating quality of sleep. It's when our bodies best heal. And it's the time that we want to make sure that we're sleeping. Now, most people get really tired around 9:30 at night. It's our body's natural way of saying, I need some rest. But most people power right through. And if you power through that time, you'll notice that once you make it past 10 o'clock, you get what we call the second wind. Oh, I got my second wind. I'm good to go for another few hours. And you think, great, I'm getting so much done. And you are. But you're doing it at the expense of your body's prime time for rest. I remember I've practiced a lot of Ayurvedic medicine for the last 35 years, and I once went to an Ayurvedic doctor. I was told that he was over 100, and he still had all of his hair, and he had the brightest eyes ever, and he gave me this description, this particular prescription that I'm going to share with you. So what I encourage you to do is not to take my word for what I'm going to tell you, but to do this as an experiment in your own life. So here was his prescription for me. He said, I want you to go to sleep at 10 p.m. 3 nights in a row and tell me how you feel on the fourth morning. And I did that, and I felt like a different person. So I call this catching the 10 o'clock angel train. So you can guess what your homework is going to be over the next few days. Of course, I know that you might be in different circumstances right now where you're not able to do that. But when you can, I ask you to practice this. Try this out 3 nights in a row, going to bed at 10 o'clock at night. And on the fourth morning, you're going to wake up, and I pretty much guarantee you're going to feel like a different person. Now, it may be that you have a hard time going to sleep. That's okay. You're training your body. Just lie in the bed. And there are a few things that I'm going to suggest in a few minutes that you can do to help you go to sleep. But I want to share with you something that I learned from a Chinitsong master, Gilles Marin. And Gilles is an extraordinary teacher of mine, and just one of these kind of smiling, happy guys, truly, truly. And Chinitsung is a version of Qigong that specifically relates to the area of energy in our stomachs. But Jill speaks about serotonin and melatonin, and he says that our endocrine systems are perfectly programmed to give us the exact right amount of sleep hormones, which are melatonin, during the night, but only if we spend enough time outdoors in daylight during the day, because it's the sun that helps increase our serotonin. Serotonin is one of those feel-good hormones that we get during the day, and we get it through sunlight. We get it in a number of different ways, but one of the ways is through sunlight, which stimulates the pineal gland, which releases serotonin and it makes us feel good. And when you're low on serotonin, you tend to feel kind of just tired and maybe a little depressed, which is why, by the way, in the wintertime when we get less sun, there tends to be more depression. But there are other ways that we can help produce serotonin during the day, which are going to help you sleep better at night. The first one is a practice called a sunning meditation that I'm going to share with you now. And I learned this from Gilles. And if you're in a place where there is sun, you're going to want to do this a couple of times a day. And all you do is you go outside and you stand with your head facing the sun with your eyes closed. With your eyes closed. Don't have your open eyes looking at the sun. So you're facing the sun with your closed eyes. And then what you're going to do is just to allow the sun's energy, the sun's prana. The sun has a life force. You're going to allow that to come in through your eyes, through your closed eyelids. And you do this for a couple of minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. If it feels like too much in the beginning, then you might need to build up to that. But again, all you're doing is you're going out, you're closing your eyes, you're facing the sun, you're imagining the sun's energy coming in through your eyes and going in and stimulating the pineal gland in the middle of your head. And you can, if you want, imagine with your eyes closed that your eyes are circling in one direction and then they're circling in another direction. And just really feel that life force, that prana from the sun coming in through your eyes into the middle of your head. And if you do this a couple of times a day for just a week, you will have reset your serotonin balance. And you'll probably also notice that you're going to get much better sleep. In fact, Jill says that for anyone who's feeling mild depression, do that sunning meditation and it will help pull you out of that state by giving you more serotonin very, very quickly. Now, if you don't have sun, then there is a substitute, and that is you just look at something of beauty. You look at a tree, you look at a flower, you look at a mountain. Just that will also increase your serotonin. So, what I suggest you do is that you try this sunning meditation, or again, if you don't have sun, that you try just looking for 2 to 3 minutes at something beautiful and letting that go in and feed and nourish you. That, along with catching that 10 o'clock angel train for the next 3 nights, and you will be working with helping your body get a better quality and balance of rest. Now, I want to share with you a couple of other little tips for helping you get a better sleep. And that is, first of all, number 1, no electronics for 2 hours before you go to sleep. That means no TV, no computer, not even your Kindle in bed. Go back to the old style of reading a book or a magazine. The reason is that the light from the electronics, it stimulates the pineal gland, and it actually disrupts our ability to sleep well. So computers, TVs, try it for 2 hours beforehand, avoiding those. The second thing is to sleep in a darkened room. A darkened room lets you have more melatonin, and melatonin is what helps you sleep. So shut the blinds or get some blackout curtains for your bedroom, and it's really well worth it. And here's a third thing. If you have a hard time falling asleep, you can take some organic sesame oil and you rub it on the soles of your feet. Often why we have a hard time sleeping is that our minds are too active, just overactive thinking. And if you rub some sesame oil on the soles of your feet before you go to sleep, what it'll do is it'll help bring that energy of the mind, help relax the energy of the mind and bring the energy to your feet. You might want to put some socks on if you don't want to get your sheets oily, but it tends to work very well. So, enjoy today's practice of sleeping your way to happiness. And I'm going to share some words from one of my favorite authors who happens to live in my town, actually. I get to see her at the grocery store. It's Anne Lamott. And Anne Lamott said, "Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you." Happy sleeping, and I'll see you tomorrow.